Sing me a song of good tidings, my lord, for it is time to record. Hello everyone, my name is Stonsey Boy and welcome back to Reading with Stonsey. Today we are reading chapter 18. I was going to say chapters, but nope, chapter 18. Only 15 pages and so it shouldn't be very long, and so without further ado and no more delay, let's start the readings of the day. Chapter 18. When trying to tell yourself something, listen. You know, I said to my friends the next morning, losing that house might be one of the best things that ever happened to me on this island. Bah, said Rainey. Yes, really, I continued, because it just added another P to my way. The lamb looked at me quizzically. Sorry, I said. You weren't born yet when I discovered the 5 Ps. Planning, preparing, prioritizing, practice, and patience. And now, I held up a theatrical fist, perseverance, which is the fancy way of repeating my first lesson of not giving up. When you need to put in other P's, it makes the cube. At that point, they all turned away. How fitting, I told their butts, in more ways than one. Because if you laid all these P's out on the ground, you could fold them up into a cube, which is how the whole world was made up. I took a whole moment and let this profound empathy sink in, and with each functioning sounds that they were impressed with me as I was myself. The way of the cube, I said grandly, striding amongst them with outstretched hands, and the perfect philosophy for my next project. Bah, said Cloud. No, and I told my pale companion. Not a new house, not yet, not before I finally tackle the reason I lost in the first one. Looking at the burned out, waterfall-filled ruin of the hill, I asked, how long ago did I realize that torchlight prevents mob spawns? And how many times did I plan to light the whole island? But I never did it because I got distracted by other projects, and, to be honest, it seemed boring. I took a price and paid for it. No more. That house-destroying creeper taught me yet another priceless life lesson. Nah. And turning back towards my friends, I saw they all walked away in the middle of my monologue. Never put off the boring but important chores, I shouted after the retreating forms. So I went straight to work and lighting up my island. I used all my coal and most of my wood to make enough torches to carpet the land. I placed them on trees and grass and beaches, even in the middle of the lagoon in a single column of cobblestone. I wasn't taking any chances. Yes, I know, I promised I'd leave that part of the island exactly as I found it, but I reasoned that if I didn't mob-proof the environment with torches, then I'd risk damaging it further with more mob attacks. Sometimes you have to compromise an ideal in order to save it. I'm glad I did. Not one mob, I said to Moo, standing in the midnight meadow, watching the torches bend to the stars, but a single spawn of one end of the other island of the other. Moo, she answered agreeably, looked up at the stars in her slow, straight journey west. I could stare at them all night, and then on that thought I added, in fact, why do I need a house anymore? I imagine my bed in the bare summit of the hill, only stars for cover. The island's safe and temperature's always mild, and why do I need a roof over my head? And at that moment it really happened and began to rain. Not those dizzy little drizzle showers that came every now and then, but a full-blown storm, with ground-shaking thunder and cracks of white lightning. That's why, I said, sheltering under a tree with Moo. Just thinking about being struck made me shiver. As much as I'd like to sleep under the stars, I also need a roof over my head. And it wouldn't be a wooden roof this time. In fact, the whole structure would be fireproof. Remember that story of the 3 pigs? I did, write down the exact detail of using bricks. No reason something can't have style, right? I found the bricks were just strong as cobblestone, and they also looked really nice. I dug all the clay in the lagoon's underwater pits, but after replacing the bottom layers with sand, I put that top layer right back in the order to restore its natural beauty. I was lucky to have enough clay to make plenty of bricks for a cozy cottage. I guess we won't have to describe the house it looks like to you, unless of course you're reading a copy of the story and the original has been removed somewhere else. I'm going to assume it's in the same place, though. Have you seen a smaller C-shaped building that mirrors the natural form of the island? You've seen the kitchen and workshop wings in the first floor, the bedroom and walk-in closets on the second. You've seen the iron front door and the 2 trapdoors in each wing of the ventilation, as well as the iron bar windows that have north and south walls at each upper floor. Doesn't that sea breeze feel good? You've seen that I've learned how to make clay flower pot that I left next to my bed and the armor stand in the closet. You've even seen that I figured out the stained glass blocks in the ceiling and made proper thin, elegant window panes downstairs. Most important, though, you've seen the paintings. Those came in when I'm making the new bed. Thought about not using flammable wool for carpeting anymore. I thought, why not mess around with a little with it and see if I can come up with anything else? And I did. A mix of sticks and wool got me an image of blank white canvas. Stretched out in wooden frame was the only then when I grabbed the really bizarre begins. Experience suggests that the object belonged to on the wall, and when I placed it on the naked bricks, the surface suddenly filled with brightly covered mini squares. The sheer surprise made me jump back a few steps. when I saw a clear pattern. It was a human figure from my world, tall and rounded, with black clothes and reddish hair, standing on the mountaintop, looking over the white landscape. Whoa, I breathed, feeling truly gobsmacked. Whole new level of crafting, not the basic generic items like a pickaxe or bread. It was clear, specific, unique. Image. How? I asked aloud. How had the world decided on that's what should fill the canvas? I punched up in the build painting, trying to examine it closer, and the image went blank. I placed it back on the wall and saw something completely different. Not only had the frame changed shape, but now the picture now appeared to be two black and white figures reaching for each other. What? I whispered, and removed it again. The third time I came to the same horizontal frame, but changed the image into a recognizable creeper. And that's when the theory formed. That's when the world choosing these images, or was I. The first two subjects were real paintings from my world. In fact, very first painting of the man on the mountaintop seemed reproduced on the cover of a book I had once read. Something about a man creating a monster. Was this world somehow channeling my memories? Was this a key to remembering who I was? Leaving the creeper painting up was a fitting reminder to always close the door. I got to work on the other frame, placed it right on the wall in my bedroom. What else will I remember, I thought. I gaped at the painting and appeared. At first I didn't think it came over from either world. The subject was a man, I think. A yellow skin, a red shirt, blue pants, and triangular blue-red hat. At first his crude outline looked squarish, and the thin lines that didn't match up with this world. Then it hit me. You're King Graham, I said in a picture, from the computer game, King's Quest. Computers. I thought about the conveniences of my world. Refrigeration, microwave ovens, TV, and AC. All of them were referenced to making life more comfortable, but computers were different. This didn't help my life. They were my life. That's why I didn't know how to fish or cook or tend a garden. I spent my life in front of a screen. But who did that life belong to? Me. Stepping out of the house, I didn't think about where I was going to notice it began to drizzle. I didn't even realize that I had begun humming the song from my world, same one I remember from the horrible first night of the island. You may find yourself, I said aloud, meandering almost dreamily around the hill. As before, I could recall the lyrics. It was like trying to listen to a neighbor's radio through a wall. All I could come up with was the same song from before. You may ask yourself, I sang to Moo, well, how did I get here? And then looking down at my friend, I asked, and why am I here? It had drawn up at me until the moment there might be a conscious reason why the entry to this bizarre blocky world. I had either been too busy or, let's be honest, too unwilling to even think about someone that had intentionally taken me. If there's a reason of me being here, I asked Moo, then what is it? Just saying it out loud made me uncomfortable. I could feel my neck muscles tighten, my stomach churn, and any peace I'd rebuilt in the new house evaporate like a dead zombie smoke. Sensing my growing discomfort, Moo ventured to questioning Moo. I don't know, I answered, in that moment despising me 3 terrifying words. I don't know why asking these questions is making me feel so small and scared. I mean, haven't I been working towards answering them all along? Wasn't that the reason for the grand strategy? The whole point of nailing down food, shelter, and safety was to give me space to concentrate on the really big questions, and how I've done all that. Now that the moment's here, I suddenly felt like I was standing on a cliff, and then I'd almost fallen into lava in the underground camp. It's just like doing a terrifying ideal. I backed up into safety. Now that the moment's here, I said, pivoting this denial, I deserve to enjoy it, right? Moo just looked at me. After all, I continued, those are questions still be there tomorrow or next week, right? I'm tired of taking a moment to smell the flowers and enjoy the sunset, and looking at the appropriately setting sun, I concluded with, which is perfect time to test out my new hot tub. Walking back to the house, I could smear Moo the call surrounding, like, wait, we gotta talk about this. Sorry, I said, practically skipping away. Time for some me time. I rebuilt my hot water luxury over the foundation of my former chicken coop. It was now a heck of a lot safer keeping lava in the house, but the ocean breeze and was now rain made it a perfect location. Soaking in steaming waters, watching the sun dip between the clouds and the sea, I tried to enjoy the near-perfect moment. It was suddenly perfect. The questions that followed me into the tub. Who, where, why? I tried to close my eyes. I focused on the breeze and the rain. I tried to concentrate on the chores of the next morning, like tending to the replanted garden and repairing my armor and tools. I tried to imagine some new decorations like rows of flowers or maybe a fountain. Nothing worked. Questions, I realized, don't say put. You can't just walk away from them. Not that I didn't try. For the second time in 10 minutes, I got up and left. Time for bed, I told myself, even though sunset had become my favorite time of the day. I walked up to the house ready to spend my first night on a newly finished masterpiece. I hope that's a good night's sleep, and the morning of comforting routine will keep me focused on here and now. That's when I noticed the torches. Their lack of. I only had one on the top floor and one on the bottom. I used all the others to light the island. Oh, that's bad, I said, shaking my head dramatically. That's really bad. Looking out through the bars of my bedroom window, I called down to Moo. See that? Too dark. I gotta get more torches, more coal. I gotta get mine again. Moo came over to me. I took as, you know you're just making up excuses. No, seriously, I countered. What if one torch is enough to keep mobs from spawning? Again came along, scolding. Will you just deal with what's bothering you already? Moo. Hold that thought, I said, reaching for my armor and tools. We'll talk later. Pickaxe in hand, sword and shield in my belt, and a healthy ration of bread and carrots on my pack, I made my way back down below the earth. Surveying the underground canyon made me realize how thoroughly mined out it was. Glittering ore caches have been replaced by gaping holes. The walls actually looked like some hungry creature that began taking huge bites out of them, which wasn't that far from the truth. The side tunnels have been equally ravaged. Previously dark tubes now have low-lit passageways, and of course the well-lit part was that I didn't want to think about it. If I was really after coal torches, I'd grab some already made ones right off the walls around me. For a moment, I seriously considered doing just that, taking a few torches, heading back home, and trying another way to avoid answering those really big questions. Gah! The groan really brought a smile to my flat face. Gah! Somewhere down here, some dark spot I'd somehow missed was a distracting, delaying dead guy. Drawing my sword, I looked in every direction. I couldn't see anything at first. Gah! These groans sounded slightly different than usual. A higher pitch, I listened carefully, and thinking maybe it was a trick of the canyon. And then something came flying out of the darkness. Flash and a miniature halfling baby zombie raced toward me in a small hole in the wall. And when I say raced, I mean raced. This little imp was fast. Before I can even raise flash, it crashed into me in a freight train. Flying back, it barely uttered and startled oof before it struck me a second time. It wasn't just fast, it was tough. I didn't know how many times it swung before Flash finally smoked it. What was that? I croaked, wolfing down the food to heal the pain. Veering into Half-Z's hiding spot, I couldn't make out any treasure, no coal, iron, or nothing of value. What this opening did present, however, was a chance to pretend I actually cared about exploring. I picked away at the me-sized opening and stepped cautiously through. I raised my shield, waiting for the inevitable arrow. Didn't come. I waited for a few extra moments, listening to the groan of a zombie or hiss of a spider, nothing but silence. Stepping eagerly forward, I thought I saw an object of light at the tunnel's entrance. It looked like a plant, or at least something plant-like, growing right out of the block floor. Stepping closer, I could make out 3 short, stubby, tan-colored shrubs. My foot was just got too close to one because it popped off the stone floor and up into my belt. Even looking closer, I could see it was a mushroom. Ew! I grimaced, thinking it was either they were poisonous or they could make me long dead rock stars. Make me see long dead rock stars. What changed from my earlier time of starvation when now literally killed for one? That's when I noticed the other light. I figured I'd put another lava pit, although the tunnel ahead was getting colder at each step. Guard up, weapon ready. I marched the last few paces, a sharp descent of the tunnel. When I took my breath away. At the bottom of a rough, steep slope of a torch. Not one of mine, attached to a wooden frame. I'm not alone, I exclaimed. Ironically, hear my own echo in reply. So many images flashed before my mind. The boots I had pulled out of the ocean. The questions about what lay beyond the horizon. And sudden, sharp sense of danger of the witch. What if this was its home? What if there were more of them, bouncing between the verve and vigilance? I crept to the bottom of the slope and stared in pure shock at the length of the artificial mine shaft. The walls had been carefully scraped out of the neat 4x4 pattern. Every few steps the ceiling was supported by wooden crossbeams set on double high fence posts. I couldn't tell how far back the tunnel went. Darkness blotted out anything beyond a few dozen paces. Who made this, I wondered, and when, and where are they? My head started spinning with questions. Had my islands once been inhabited? Had there been another individual like me, or a group of people that had come here and built this and then left? If so, was surface evidence like structures and homes? Had the original miners decided to store the entire island in natural state before leaving? If so, why hadn't they taken all the other minerals I found up until this point? Maybe they just taken as much as they needed in my pulse race. Maybe the island hadn't been their starting point, but their ending. Maybe the mining tunnel ran to the ocean out of reality, or a new world, or a different island at the very least. I thought about calling out whoever might be still here, the reason that they might also be hostile. Just because someone looks like you doesn't make them a friend. Once again, I came back to the theory of the witch's lair and decided not to advertise my presence. I noticed that wood blocks in the fence posts were oak, not birch. Since the former had been rare up in my island before I caused their extinction, maybe that's all been brought up to someplace else. I placed the torch farther down the wall, spied another particularly in the distance, which are sections of wood, metal plated, and the iron track. I followed hesitantly, placing torches every few steps and listening to nearby sounds. I passed caches of embedded coal, iron, and redstone, which I promised to dig out later. I also passed several blocks of spider webs in the upper corner of the shaft. But this last observation filled my anxiety with full alert. Maybe they were even spun by some harmless little species about the size of a crabcupine. Or maybe their bigger cousins are to blame. Still following the track, I saw that the shaft split left to right. I looked left, saw nothing but blackness, looked right, and saw that it looked like a metal box. Getting closer, I saw it wasn't a box, but a wheeled cart that held a standard wooden storage chest. Opening the lid, I found a worn iron pickaxe, and something about positively blew my mind. It wasn't crafted of diamonds. It wasn't of diamonds crafted into armor. It wasn't armor that had been crafted into something that wasn't human. At first glance, the large protective cover seemed to have made a four-legged animal. A cow? A sheep? Why would anyone want to protect animals that were ignored by mobs? Maybe it's protection against another monster I haven't encountered yet, I mused, examining the glitter cover, or maybe the animal, not a monster, that I haven't encountered. But the second theory was true when it bolstered a single notion that materials were coming to someplace beyond the island. Should I head back up the surface, try the suit and animal friends, and I press on? Clickety-clack. There was my answer. 3 arrows, yes, 3, came whistling from the dark and buried themselves in my ironclad chest. I winced, turning to run down the tunnel like a very fist underground level battle. I turned the corner and waited for a pursuer to show. Click, click, click. I could hear 3 pairs of bony feet, although it didn't seem possible, 1, maybe 2, but I never come across so many. You're in for it, I told myself, and surely I was. No chance of shield and strike maneuver here. No way to avoid looking like a wounded hedgehog. As a trio of archers came around the corner, I laid with a flashing diamond-edged determination. You don't know how many arrows struck out of my body by the end. I sure don't want to remember it. It was enough to devour the rest of my food and send me straight back to the surface. Guys, I called up to my 4-legged posse. It fit any of you? I looked at special care of the whole of the diamond armor of both Moo and Sheep. Neither would accept it. So, what do you think it's for? I asked them. A deer? A horse? A water buffalo? The middle one made the most sense, as I'd seen pictures of the armored horses from my world's age of dumbness. I guess the specific animal isn't important, I told Moo. As a fact, there would be other land out there. I glanced at the horizon, feel my insides tighten again. Or not, maybe not. I chirped, hopping back to the Nile Express. This island could be a mountaintop in the world if flooded. Wasn't there a career-killing movie about that? The animals all stared at me. Whatever, I said, and head about for the hill. Point is, I gotta get back down here. No, who knows what I'm gonna find. I still wasn't ready to listen to what my subconscious was trying to tell me.
It's never a healthy thing to do, really. Because if you never listen to yourself, your subconscious, then, I mean, heck, you're just gonna end up going mad. A little crazy. Maybe a bit insane. I don't know if those are lyrics to a song, but they do sound right. What also sounds right is that today we read pages 206 to 221, chapter 18. Next time we'll be reading pages 222 to 243, chapters, as I can properly now say it, 19 to 20. Yeah, that means next episode's gonna be 21 pages, and if it makes you feel any better, the final episode's gonna be 22. This book's been killing me. But you know what kills me more? Is that it's time for... the reading corner of the day, doing it up Stonsey's way. Bop. I don't know why I say it's killing me. I do enjoy doing these, and I love teaching. Today, we are going to be learning about Plott. Now, what is Plott in a book? Well, it's simply put, not what we're talking about today. No, we're talking about the Plott hound. Though in the book, it's called Plott. Plott. I couldn't tell you why. It generally is just a very strange name for this dog. It should be called the Plott hound as this book, but it's put down as miscellaneous for the hound group for some reason. I guess it's a fight if it is or isn't a hound. I couldn't tell you. What I could tell you is that it's sad and it looks a little silly. But before you can make fun of anything, you should know or have a strong opinion on something, especially when it comes to government or anything big like that. You should know of its history. Actually, you should even know about something if you really enjoy it, like art, reading, or maybe dogs. Hey, you found me if you like dogs. But yeah, you should really get into what you know and get the history. Not only if you get into an argument about something you love, it builds your credibility, makes you look smart in front of your mom, your dad, or your old pictures of yourself when you're 6 and you wore a suit that looked really ugly and purple and had stripes. I don't know why the heck I wore that, maybe for a wedding. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my own picture now. It just makes you more intelligent. But intelligence doesn't actually lie in just knowing things. It's knowing things and using them. That's why the most intelligent person you'll ever meet is a teacher. Because they learn things and then they teach you. So, let's get to the history of the Plott. The history of the Plott is that the official state of the dog of North Carolina. That's me. Yippee! The Plott's roots ring from Germany, where Hanoverian Schweizhounds, were valued for their ability to hunt wild boars and track wounded game even over week-old trails. In 1750, 16-year-old Jonas George Plott bought 5 of these dogs with him to the new home in the Great Smoky Mountains. Although there were no wild boars there at the time, the dogs and their descendants proved themselves to be great cold trailers of large animals, especially bear. They didn't just find bear, but they could hold a bay or even bring down a 500-pound bear. The Plott family bred their line of blood-trailing brindle dogs for 7 generations. The dogs distributed across the Smoky Mountains as their family grew. Other mountain men incorporated the Plott hound into their own lines of dogs, but stories disagree
As the extent of, if any, other strains were introduced to Plotts, some maintain the early cross of leopard-spotted bear dogs, and others claim crosses the fur dogs or better treating ability. It is not until the early 1900s the documented crosses of the other lines were improved the Plott strain. At the time, Golofersen crosses the Plotts strain of black-speckled hounds of the Belvins and Great Smokies, producing Tiji and Bus, two hounds which talent that even the Boss family incorporated in their blood pack into their line. This introduced the black-saddled brindle pattern into the breed. Most of all Plotts can be traced back to one of these dogs, although used primarily the bear, boar, mountain lions. Many Plotts are the adept at treeing raccoons and coon hunters, far more populous than bear hunters, found them ideal for their needs. In 1946, the breed finally received the official name of Plott Hound when it was recognized by the UKC, or the United Nations Kennel Company. It is the only UKC coonhound breed that doesn't trace back to foxhounds. In 1989, it was designated to the official state dog of North Carolina. In 1998, the AKC, American Kennel Company, admitted the Plott only into a miscellaneous class. So it's not actually a hound, it's just Plott. Very mean name, but I call it a Plott hound because it's in the hound group. It's strange. Now, you know the weird but kind of cool history of the Plott hound. What's its temperament? How do I get the national dog of North Carolina in my home? Well, the temperament of the Plott hound is that it's bred for generations as a bear or coon dog. The Plott's first nature is to sniff up a cold trail and follow it to the end, yet Plott makes it transition to a family dog with ease, being eager to please and loyal. It's an extremely courageous breed and is befitting any good hound. It's headstrong. Plotts can be wary of strangers, but generally warm up quickly. They are not gregarious with other dogs as some hounds. In true, their bear hunting heritage can be ferocious fighters. If pushed, they may tree the family cat. So kind but annoying like a cat. You want one of these dogs all the same though. So what's its upkeep? How do I keep this dog into its ship-shape, little funny way of living life? Well, the upkeep of the Plott is that Plotts are easy keepers, but they have a securely fenced yard. They need canine or human companionship and an opportunity to hunt for at least go for some woodland hikes. They enjoy swimming. Coat care is minimal. That's always good to hear. Now, the health for, children, cover your ears, close your eyes. Teenagers and adults who own Plott hounds, I'm about to read the health concerns of them. So please get your notebooks if you own a Plott hound or a Plott, for it's just important. Their major concerns are nothing. Minor concerns are nothing. Occasionally seen with CHD. Suggested tips for the hip and lifespan is 11 to 13 years. 2 for 2 on the hounds that have no medical history, huh? It's cool. But you don't have any kids. You don't even see this dog. And so what's its form and function? What's its function through the house and what's its form? Well, the form and function of the Plott is no frills dog built to follow cold trails at speed, other terrain, and through water and all weather, and to grapple on large animals, including bear. Once cornered, it's streamlined and agile, yet powerful and great endurance. The hair is short to medium in length, fine to medium coarse in texture. When trailing, the Plott is bold and confident, not backing down from a challenge. Its voice is open and unrestricted, with a loud bugle like chop or ball. Now for the final section of the episode. 5 is the best, 4 is better, 3 is average, 2 is the worst, or 2 is worse, and 1 is the worst unless it comes to grooming. That's the tier list of the day. Energy level, exercise requirements, playfulness, and affection level of the Plott is out of 3. Friendliness towards dogs, pets, other pets, strangers, and ease of training are out of 2. Pretty easy. Watchdog ability and protection ability are out of 4. Hey, pretty high for a hound. Grooming requirements is out of 1, which is fantastic. Cold tolerance and heat tolerance are out of 3, which is average. Wow. The weight of a male Plott should be 50 to 60 pounds, and a female Plott should be 40 to 55 pounds. Though, according to the United Kingdom Kennel Club, a male should be 50 to 75 pounds, and a female should be 40 to 65 pounds. The height of a male should be 20 to 25 inches, female 20 to 23 inches, and according to the United Kingdom's Kennel Club, a male should be 22 to 27 inches, and a female 21 to 25 inches. Well, this one's a sight for sore eyes because it's very commonly seen in movies and such. And it is the dog you'll be learning about in the next episode. Come on, guys. You guys gotta stop doing this. You're smarter than this, and you're all smart because, well, you're all fantastic, smart, and very kind and courageous individuals.
I like complimenting y'all because it's what you guys are. You're all very smart and kind and super cool. That's what you are. That's what you are. That's what you are in my eyes. All right. So yeah, hope you guys do a fantastic, wonderful day. Be polite, be efficient, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time for another fun, yet long and time-breaking reading video.